We're
The
live.
podcast is live.
Okay.
Yay!
Yes. Woo-hoo. Hello, everybody.
Awesome.
I do think we have a few people who are here. I see Jennifer and TLC, the Lopsided Crafter. Nancy, hello. I just figured I would let a few more people join in now that we are live. And we can chillax and drink a little coffee for a second while we both
Chillax. I love it.
Yes, exactly. But we're both here, and thanks to everybody for joining today. I'm super, super excited. I found my pink headphones that I've been searching for I don't know, like a week now, that were just in a pocket of one of my hoodies, of course.
Annoying.
So it's a good day. It's been a good day, you know, when you find things.
Finding things, probably where you left them, right? Exactly.
I figured they were in a pocket. I was like, they have to be in a pocket. But I mean, then you're like, how many pockets do I really have in all of my wardrobe? A lot.
As many cardigans and pants. And yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Exactly. Let's see. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Ellen. Letting a few more people join in. Well, how was your morning, Kayla?
Me? Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. My morning is, like I said, it was chaotic because there was a giant storm happening, but I love to crochet in a storm. So like I can't really get upset about that, like honestly, you know? Just like nice. And then all my cats came and like sat on me too. They're like, hey, it's storming. Let's snuggle. Let's do this. I saw you got the yarn out. Hello. This is my place for the rest of the day. So they were rather upset when I was like, I need to move now. Like,
well, tell me about your cats, because I think I knew you had at least a cat, but let's hear about the cats.
3 cats, yes. They're all like rescues, and one of them is an old man, and he is just like the biggest snuggle fluffy fluff ever. Just like needs to be shaved because he grows so much, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And he loves being shaved too, because he's like, ooh, I feel good. Like after he's shaved, it's hilarious. So.
And does he like look like a lion? It's like the lion cut that they do.
He does, and very specifically, he likes his paws like all the way shaved too, because he's like, I don't like the hair in between my toes. Thank you, pedicure, manicure. Thank you very much. Like high maintenance, bougie AF type of cats. Yeah, for sure. And then the other 2 are like 6 pounds. Teeny tiny little things, and they found each other at a foster home, and then they're like, we love each other, we need to be adopted together. So that's how I ended up with 3, is because I was like, well, it's a pair, so now we have 3.
You might as well. Exactly. Yeah, one of our cat is we actually call him Little Man. That's his name. And luckily he did not end up growing into a big man. He is a little man.
That's good.
So I think he's like 7 pounds. So he is on the smaller cat side. But then we have our 2 dogs that are 50 and 75 pounds. So
like humans.
More than big enough. Yeah. Just
awesome.
Some mini horses, you know.
Just a tiny baby horse that lives inside the house.
Yes, exactly. So let's see. Nancy loves storms too. I like to sleep in storms. Like I like to nap. I like to take naps unless it's like really storming, and I don't know what happened, and I swear it goes back to me being like a little kid, and my dad would have to drop me off during the summertime at like the day camps at the YMCA. And for some reason, like scary weather scared the crap out of me when I was little, and I was always like afraid I would get like, I don't know, caught in a tornado. I don't know why it was this irrational fear. And so now if it's like super thundering and lightning, I get like a stomach ache. But if it's just like a chill, you know, summer rain, you know, a little bit of thunder, I'm fine. But it's like, I don't know, it's some kind of like childhood thing that comes up, and I'm like, let me just go snuggle with the dog because he's afraid of thunder too, you know.
You know, you got your support buddy then. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Like, hey, let's snuggle. You hear it, I hear it too. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, we're going to get through this together. And I'm sorry, guys, if my hand will come over this because I'm on my phone. So when I'm scrolling through the comments, that's what you'll see, my finger coming through.
I wondered how all that worked, because I normally do mine on a laptop. And so I was like, well, there's a new thing for every single day. Here we are, learning progress.
And I didn't realize, so we never had Mac Apple products in our house. Like we really weren't like anti-Apple. It's just we always had Samsung phones. And our laptops got to a point where we needed something new. And because I do photography, I got a Mac because I was like, this will be better for everything. And I got the huge desktop, which is great for photo editing. But StreamYard does not support Safari. And I didn't want to download Google on the Mac. So I just use the phone for now.
Oh.
Which is crazy, but I don't know why it wouldn't.
That meshes together, everything has their own thing, which is also annoying on top of all the technology. You're like, really, you're not compatible? Of course you're not. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like,
What year do we live in again? This can't all just mesh. It can't work.
Everybody, let's hold hands, get through this together. Like, seriously.
All right, so let's see. Nicole Young wants to know if you made the sweater that you have on. And I know she's talking to you because I'm not wearing a sweater.
I was going to say, I was like, unless you have a really thin one on, which I always love. But yes, I totally did. This was my Friday the 13th edition of a sweater here. Just because, you know.
Oh, I think I lost you a little bit. I can't hear you.
Let's see.
There we go. Got you back. Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Yes.
Don't know what happened. Like I said, there's a storm. It's wonderful. Anyways, yes. So I made that specifically for Friday the 13th to chill and watch every single movie, which there are 12. I honestly didn't realize it at the time. And I was like, well, here's my day. This is what I'm doing. So I was like,
a couple of days.
Let's watch the movies. And then someone was like, just so you know, there are 12. And I was like, well, I'm in it now. It's too late to back out. But
well, and where are you watching all of those on? What are you watching all of those on? The movies?
So I get most of my horror movies from Shudder because it's fantastic. And then these I just had, honestly, I had like DVDs and a couple of like VHS and stuff. So I was like, old school, here we go. We're living it. Like the original one on VHS. And I was like, had it like dusted off a little bit. I'm like, does it even work? Yeah, exactly. I was like, 90s baby. So you know what to do. You know the business.
And remind me what Shudder is, because I've heard you talk about it on your lives, but I don't know if everyone here knows about it.
True. Okay, so Shudder is it's like Netflix, but exclusively horror movies. So basically, when I found that, I was like, oh, this is cool because it has like all of like the really old timey like Frankenstein, like the original Dracula, and I was like, this is fun. And then it's like each week they come out with like 2 or 3 more movies, and I'm like, this is glorious. I have found my home. This is where I'm going to reside for the rest of forever. And it's like, it's so, honestly, if you're into horror movies, it's like the greatest place to go. Because then you can go and like, if you didn't like a movie or something, there's already people that are like trash talking it down below. And you could be like, yeah, you know what? It wasn't that scary, like really at all. But they're really good about it because they're like, yeah, we know, guys, we know, calling us out. Okay, cool. We're going to like cycle that one out, bring you some new ones. So it's kind of cool because it's like an interactive platform or like streaming horror movies. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And coming from someone who like the most horror, I guess the only favorite like horror-esque movie that I would like is not horror. It would be like Young Frankenstein.
Of course.
So like,
of course,
like comedy play on horror.
Horror comedy though, that is like such a fun genre. Like honestly, it is just, especially some people are like, Evil Dead. It's like just like comically hilarious, but there's like a horror aspect to it. Yeah. Like I love that. That's like my daytime horror, like watching. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna have some like fun vibes, but it's also gonna be horror, mainly horror. So yes, I totally get that. I love that.
I think I'd be the opposite because I think I mentioned this in one of your lives that if I watch anything scary at night, then I'm going to have like either nightmares or I'm going to be like peeking around the shower curtain, like wondering if something's going to come get me. I won't look in the mirrors,
Exactly. Oh, mirrors are the worst. Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially at night.
Yes.
I'm like you get up at night to pee. If I have to wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and you're like, not going to look, just going to sit down, do my business, go back to bed.
There is a 0.001% chance that something is there, but it's not worth the risk. Like, I'm not doing it. Not today. You're not going to get me. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so Carol asked if we can leave a link for it. And I'm guessing maybe that's for Shudder. Let me know, Carol, if that's what you mean. If so, I will get that and I'll put it in the description. So if anyone's watching this later or rewatching, you can find it. And let's see.
Especially with Halloween coming up, man. I'm sure they're gonna have some deals,
Yes.
some good stuff coming your way.
And let's see. Nancy says that they remodeled their garage and screened it in. So I'm guessing that means for like crocheting outside.
So
And
nice.
yes, and we did the same thing. I'm in a screened in porch right now. And we actually used some of that. I don't know if we have it over here. If anyone remembers those infomercials for Flex Seal, where like the spray, it's like plastic in a can. And we had to spray the roof because the roof was like slatted and it would rain. And so I couldn't sit down here if it was raining, but he used that Flex Seal and it worked. And now we can sit down here if it's raining, if I just kind of like sit closer to like the back side of the wall. But it's really nice. I think that's my favorite. Like I said, if it's not like crazy, crazy weather, then it's so nice to sit outside and listen to like the rain. I need to put like a hammock under the screened in porch.
Oh my gosh, literally stop. That sounds
Right?
fantastic. This is where I am the entire day. Please, no one bother me. Just have a little sign, crochet a little sign that says don't bother.
Go away, crocheting. Oh, that's okay. That was fun.
You know what?
That was fun.
A whole adventure today, and on my phone, it's like awesome.
You know, I love the fact that because of what has happened to technology and like the community because of COVID, it's like everybody's like, whatever, it happens. Like, this is life. If my cat jumps up and knocks my crap over in the middle, like everybody gets it. It's relatable.
It's just, it's one of those things. And I'm like, all right, now I need to find a spot. So what happened is my thing that holds up my phone, the battery just died because, you know, I wasn't expecting to use it today.
Yeah.
So here we are trying to find something to prop it up on. I might just hold it, you know? Here we are. Adventures are out there.
Yes. And I'm just glad that you are able to use your phone and we're good and we can still be here.
Oh my gosh.
Is your power out?
Like everything is
gone. Oh my gosh.
I like even called and I was like, hey, so like, are we going to be able to use the internet? And they're like, actually, it's out right now. And I'm like, well, that's a fun fact. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. It's going to be super annoying now that it's like this weird angle.
No, it's not. I can see you. See, I have to get I have my headphones plugged in, so there's only so far back I can sit away from the camera before.
Oh, yes, for sure. Oh, God. And I'm going to make everybody sick. The thing I put it in has my rocks in it. So I'm like, here we go. Life, here we go.
Well, and I have to say, I wore the only shirt that I've made that I feel like has my kind of like tattoo-esque vibes, and that's my Death Before Knitting.
Freaking love that so much. I legitimately was like, okay, so I have a cart that I put stickers on, and I saw that. I was like, what's going on there? Do I need another sticker? Absolutely. Yes is always the answer to stickers. I need more. 100%.
Well, and I had to figure out because my vibe tends to be so like bright and colorful. When I first designed this, I was like, okay, well, I don't want it to be too off brand, but it's like our crochet hooks. So it was like this kind of perfect melding of like the tattoo-esque and then like our hook shape. And I realized that if I like made it rainbow, then it would be a little brighter. Or I have a version that's just like a black outline on apparel, but I sell it in like super crazy colors. So like neon green and bright pink. And so I was like, that fixes everything.
And it's good. Yes, it definitely did stand out from the rest of your stickers. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. But yes, like you're correct with all of the, like the rainbow colors. I was like, oh, and it's still like cutesy fun. I love it. Yeah. Like it's awesome.
I got to find the happy medium.
Of course.
Okay. So I don't want to keep it too long, especially like I don't want your phone to die before we get to like super chat.
Here we are.
Technology. And so we are 15 after, and usually I run these for, like an hour, so we can just chat for the hour. But if you have to go or if the phone dies, we totally understand. I totally understand.
Stopped.
Yes, we'll have to do it again. We'll just do this again. That's how that'll happen.
Absolutely.
And we can maybe do it on your channel if you want to. We can have a different chat and we'll, jump around.
Absolutely, yes.
But for this one, I really just wanted to focus. I do have my little notes, so I remember to ask some questions. but we can start with like the super basic, which is just
Sure.
when you learned how to crochet and why you decided to learn how to crochet, and if you knitted as well, and what that journey was like for you.
Sure. Well, really, I learned to crochet as like something fun to do because I've always honestly been like a crafty person, but I tried like everything and nothing really stuck. I like bought everything to scrapbook and I still have it. I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, this is never going to happen. I tried to knit, but I just found like I went too slow. My brain was like, I want to go faster. I want to finish projects quicker and everything like that. So I was literally just sitting with my aunt one day and she's like, if you want to like do this faster, there's this thing called crochet. You only use one hook. You don't need two needles. It goes a lot quicker, I promise. And I was like, okay, whatever, Warlock, sure. Because she's been crocheting for years and years. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I did. I tried it that night and I made like a little like basket to throw like, I don't know, whatever in there. I put everything in there because I was so excited that I made it. I was like, I made a freaking basket. This is amazing. With my own hands as I was watching. I think it was like American Horror Story. I was watching it and I was like, I made this. So this like that episode is like permanently like super special to me because I was like, one time when I first started, I was watching this. And anyways, so that's how it started. And then it just kind of like went out of control up from there because I was like, now I want to make things to wear. Now I want to make decor and like just everywhere and anything. And I found YouTube immediately because I was like, well, my aunt's going to get slightly annoyed if I come to her every time I need a question, like she's a lovely human and probably would have answered every single question. But YouTube is where it's at. Everything and anything you can find a tutorial for and everything like that. So went on there and I was like, this is amazing. And it didn't even really click in my mind that people like did this for a job for like, a good solid like couple weeks. And then I'm like, oh, people are doing this for a living. This is amazing. How cool would it be doing like something like that? And so that's kind of what got it started of like, this is really cool. And then also just like not being able to find patterns that are like this vibe of like horror crochet. It's not a huge niche out there.
It's like
not a lot
baby
of people...
blankets and bright pink floral cardigans. Yes.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'll make a baby blanket, but I want it to have like a smashed pumpkin head on it or something like that. And like maybe Sleepy Hollow. I don't know. Like that's what I'm looking for. And everyone, like people that I would contact and be like, do you know anyone that does this? They're like, no, I don't know why you're asking me that. I have these patterns, but legit no. And so I was like, oh, that's a bummer. And then that got me into like, okay, well, it's not out there. So I guess I have to design my own, So I started doing it that direction, which I feel like that's kind of a lot of people. They just like don't find what they want out there. So you either have to like accept it and be okay with that or be like, you know what, I'll make it myself then. So that's kind of the direction and like the birth of alt knots, I guess, is it just wasn't out there. So affirmation and made it appear. Yes, exactly.
So that was part of my question that I was thinking is, did you start off making things that were this more alternative, spooky vibe, all of that, or did you actually make some things at first that were like, oh, I'm never going to use this, but I'm just making it because I need to learn how to do this?
Right. Well, the very first project that I did, I used black yarn because that's the color yarn that I like. And looking back on it, I'm like, I could have finished that project like in an hour, but it was the middle of the night. I had one spotlight and I'm learning with black yarn. And I was like hell-bent determined to do that. And so, it's always been that way. I'm like, the patterns aren't out there, but like, I'll just go ahead and change the color a little bit. Patches. I love adding patches to things because I feel like I could take any sort of pattern and just make it black and red, add some patches, and it's like immediate, like vampy vibe. And then that just like elevates it that way. So I never really worked with like I think I had like one thing of rainbow that I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. And I started working with this and I'm like, wow, this gives me no joy. Like I just did not enjoy the project at all. So I was like, well, we tried, it's out there. We tried. Which now, if my family members were like, I would love to have this in like olive green, of course, I would definitely do that. But when you're learning, you only have a finite amount of time and you're like, what do I want to do? I definitely
Yes.
want to work with this. You know, you kind of like pick and choose your battles. But now, no problem. Like, whatever you want.
Yes.
All
Well, and I
colors are
think,
welcome.
I feel like you do, in a way, something that's very similar to what I strive to do with my patterns. And that's you make things that are beginner friendly and simple enough that people really have this freedom to play with color. And, you know, because I
Yes.
remember I saw someone who tagged you on Instagram. I was looking through your tag photos,
Yeah.
and I think they made one of your sweaters, but they made it for like their grandmother. And it was
Oh my
like
God.
this taupe and baby pink with like a
Yes.
floral embellishment. And I'm like, wait a second, that's one of her
Yep.
patterns. But it was because she liked the shape and she liked the way that you put it
Exactly.
together.
Yes. Especially like your overall pattern too. That like seriously, like more of those patterns need to be out there in the world because so many people come into crochet and they're like, your cardigans are really cute and I love them so much, but like I don't think I can do it because they're
Mhm.
so used to like the, you know, the stuffy traditional here is 10 pages that you need to get
Yeah.
through. Follow verbatim. If you don't, you're gonna have like a random hole in your
Yes.
armpit. One's gonna be too small. Like you know, you really had to follow it. But like now,
Yeah.
especially like with like you said, with both our patterns, it's more like just get the gist, get the, you know, the sizing, the shaping. That's really
Yeah.
all you need to know. And you know, for the most part, like I said, for the most part of mine anyways, is like one or two stitches at the most. And they're all like
Yes.
basic beginner friendly type of stuff. Because to be honest, I love doing those really intricate ones like mosaic crochet. Oh my gosh, I
Hmm.
love that. Don't even get me started on that. But do I have like, you know, 6 7 days to like sit and work on one project? Like most of the time not. And so I know
Yeah.
that other people are going to feel that way too. And it's like, well, you know, keep that on the side. But basically like this, it was a 1 day thing. It was I thought it up and I was like, it took me longer to order the patch than it
Yeah.
did to make the cardigan, you know? So like those are the projects that,
Yes.
yeah, they definitely need to be out there to get more people involved in crochet
Yes.
and
And
knitting alike. Yeah.
I think that somebody put it a specific way that I have really held on to and kind of pushed myself because I feel like it's really nice when other people start to describe your work and then you're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to use that verbiage, you know.
Right.
And one of the things that I kept hearing is that my patterns and like these kind of quick beginner patterns, they're palette cleansers. So like all of these people out
Yes.
there who do these crazy intricate projects that take them months, they'll take a break and do
Yes.
one of these patterns like your cardigans or like my cardigans or overalls or like these quick things, to just take a break and a breather and have that instant gratification that they made something quickly and then they can go back to these more intricate patterns later.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
100% sure. And I love that phrase too. Like
Yeah.
people have said that before, like, oh, palette cleanser of like a dishcloth. And I'm like, you know,
Yes.
you could do that and make a cardigan. You could also
Yeah.
be fulfilled and like have this option. So yes, I love that phrase. That definitely is. It's a good thing to have options out there. Honestly, that's what it is. Just options in general is always nice.
And let's see. I was going to try to read through some of these comments. And hello to everybody who's here and anyone who's watching the replay. Hello, hello. Since this is more interview style, I'm trying not to interrupt and say hello to everybody. So hello, hello. Carrie did say for me and maybe others, finding Kayla's patterns, streams, and group has put the excitement back into crochet. I always struggled
Yay.
to find patterns I liked for me, and then Kayla's video popped up in instant heaven.
Yay. Oh my gosh, that's so
Yes,
awesome.
and that is from Carrie. And then Linda says, I love Kayla's sweater. I had the tutorial saved. Um, and J Hook Crochet instant gratification is how life works right now. And honestly, I agree. I think with everything that's happening in the world, it's like you need this kind of comfort of just like, I need to do something for me.
Oh,
You know, I need some time for myself. I need to just kind of separate myself from what's happening. And I think that not only having like the patterns that you love and new things that you can do, I think it's having that community, and finding these like mini communities within this larger community that you can share and feel accepted and feel like you can just, you know, be yourself and do all of that. I think that's so important right now.
oh yes.
Rainy. Oh, go ahead.
Unapologetically. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
to
Exactly.
unapologetically just talk about crochet for like no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're having a stressful day. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the world that are super stressful right now, but like, come here, we're talking about crochet. That's it.
Yes.
That is okay. You are allowed to do that as well from time to time.
Yes. So I, leading into that, so you learned how to crochet, you found your niche, the things that you loved doing this, kind of for yourself, maybe for other people. So how did that end up transitioning into alt knots? How did you decide on your name? And then how did that end up transitioning into being your full-time job?
Yes. So, how it came to be, honestly, is I was getting frustrated with tutorials that like didn't do specific things that I like as a beginner was like, I need to know this. Like they would go, there's certain things that would go too fast, certain things too slow. And I was like, I can't be the only one thinking this. So I just like created a YouTube channel and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. If no one watches, whatever, at least I have it as like a reference to go back and be like, how did I do a magic circle the other day? I don't know. And like pull it up and look at it, that was like the main thing. The name came to be, I was actually chatting with my sister for like a couple of weeks and I came up with all these crazy ones. And the thing with my sister is that she is very like to the point, no nonsense type of person. So like the best person to like bounce names off of, because she would be like, that's trash garbage. Try again. Like, no, like none of this, like, oh yeah, that's, oh, that's a good idea for you, like not for anyone else, So it was super, super fun. And like, after a while, she just was finally like, okay, here are the things that you're into. You're alternative, you're this, you're that, you're that. And then I was like, oh, what if we just shorten it? She's like, well, I don't hate it. And I was like, well, that's good then. Awesome.
Progress.
So, exactly. So alt knots came to be, and it was one of those things where it's like, it's short to the point. It's exactly what it is. When you click on it, you're like, oh yeah, okay. Alternative crochet. Perfect. There we go. Nice and easy. And then really fun to put on stickers. Cause like who doesn't like stickers, right? And then I guess, the transitioning into full time that was the next question that led into. Honestly, like many others, I was doing this and another job at the same time. And I was like gradually learning and growing to hate that job because like this is what I wanted to do. Like I just got so much joy from doing videos, editing, and chit-chatting with people live. It was just so much fun that I was like, before this, I was a chef. And I was just like gradually being like, if I see another freaking onion, I'm genuinely gonna like roll up my knives and be like, leave. Like I am done with this. Like I can't do it anymore. Yeah. And that's never fun. Like when you get to that point in your life, you need to like really be assessing your life because you only have this one moment, this one time. Let's do something that you enjoy and that you love, because that's what it's all about. And so it came to that. Exactly, right? And so I would come home every day to my partner and he'd be like, do I even need to ask how your day was? And I was like, probably not. Yeah, probably already know. And I'm like, I chopped some onions. I sauteed some soup. It was great. Like, you know what I mean? It was just not fun anymore. And so when COVID hit and I got laid off for obvious reasons because we weren't cooking or doing food of that sort, he was just like, okay, sit down and think about this. This is what you get your most joy from. You've been doing this solid for about 4 months. Just don't go back. Like it's so silly. Don't go back. You've already gone this far. You go back. You have a job full time. Do this part time. Like that does not resonate with what you're enjoying out of life. And so I did. I just did not go back. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to do this full time now. And here we are. And genuinely, I don't even have to set an alarm. I like wake up so freaking happy, mainly because of coffee. Like I set my coffee and I wake up to the smell of coffee and I'm like, caffeine in the morning. It's just like amazing. But just knowing that I'm doing, like, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing at this moment in time, crocheting, doing tutorials, helping others find joy in yarn. Like that sounds amazing. That is every day I've gotten up and it's like, the love for it has just like grown too, which is amazing because I've never had a job like that. It's like over time, I was gradually like, well, I mean, it's okay. Like, I guess whatever. Here we go. Just another day. But like, this is every single day. I don't have to set an alarm. It's amazing. My body's just like, you want to do something? You ready?
Yeah.
You ready to do this again and do what you love? I'm like, yes, Day. I am totally ready for this. So that is honestly.
I have to agree with the getting up earlier, because it did get to a point with me, and I didn't hate my job. You know, I had taken this new job because it was a route that I thought I wanted to go in that direction. And it just got to a point where like it was the going into an office, it was the commute, it was all of those things that I was like, if you guys would just let me do this at home, then I really think that I would have continued to work that job. But I was like, I don't want to get up in the morning. I didn't want to get up. I wanted to lay in bed. I would sleep in. Anytime I had the opportunity to sleep in, I was sleeping in until like 9, 10 o'clock. And, you know, now it's like, I get up in the morning at like 8 o'clock, 7:30, and I'm like, okay, I'm up. Like, let's go do this. You know, got stuff to do today, you know?
Exactly. Really fun things that I actually want to do. Be productive. Yeah.
Yes. We do have a question. Somebody wanted to know if you had red hair when you were a chef.
I did. And when I first started culinary school, it was a very, very big deal. It actually like stopped me from getting a few jobs because people would be like, and you'd think like chefs, like people have tattoos, you know, we got, you know, everything. No, for some reason, the red hair just like agitated people, and it was like to their core, did not like it. And so I had a couple of jobs that would actually be like, you know what? We don't like it. We feel like it's unprofessional. Like, you need to change it. And I was like, well, I guess I'm done with this job. See you later. Like, no, thank you. But yes, so I did have that. It was actually, it's been every color, to be honest. But for some reason, I'm just like stuck on red. I think it's because I really, really love vampires. And I'm like, red and black. It's just so like gothic noir. That's what I feel like. But yeah, out in the office workplace type of deal, they still definitely did not like the colored hair and everything like that. So I'm glad I didn't change it, though. Obviously, I mean, it's just not very much my personality to change if someone asked me to do it, so it would have been silly.
How long have you been coloring your hair regularly?
Since I was 18.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to color it crazy colors at home. So as soon as I got to college, it was one of those things where it's like, I'm free. All right. Every single week, I'm going to change the colors. So my hair hated me because I literally was like Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim. It was like literally every week. I was like, I'm going to go from black to orange to blue to purple to rainbow. Like, it was a crazy time in my life. I'm amazed my hair did not fall out, to be honest.
That's always my fear, because that was my question. Do you do everything yourself?
Yes, I totally do. The thing with having like the same color forever and ever is like, my natural hair color is blonde. So if it's not colored over top of it, I just throw the red on top of it now and just like, do a little bit there. But yes, when I was completely switching it, I was like, there was one time where I was like, my hair feels like ramen noodles. This can't be good. Like, it was so bad, but I powered through it. Obviously, I didn't learn my lesson. I was like, continue on.
I did it
in the dark at one time.
Oh my gosh.
Don't know what happened.
Just because?
I think it was the combination of chemicals that I had on there, and I like shut the light off, and my roommates were like, well, that's fun. Did we do that on purpose, or is this like we're gonna wake up and you're gonna be bald? And I'm like, if they do, you know what, it's a look. I'm gonna go with it. They're like, we're glad that you just go with it, because I think it's gonna like this is it. Radioactive.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. So Kelly just said, I had to pop in with this comment. I just showed my son the screen and said, see, I told you, it's not just little old ladies that knit and crochet. Look at these beautiful young women.
Yes, of course.
So thank you, Kelly. We're educating the youth.
Yes. It is funny because that is such a stigma, even still. And you're like, this is so silly. Like, there's so many amazing patterns out there nowadays. So silly.
Yes. And let's see. Hello to Granny D and Jennifer. I think Jennifer's been here a minute. J Hook Crochet. Hello, hello. Just wanted to take a quick look so I don't miss any good questions. Linda says, LOL, I have bright purple at this time and I'm 63 with tattoos. I started 10 years ago. Woohoo! Yes.
You know, whenever you feel like in your moment in your life that you're like, I need tattoos, I need color hair, do it. Like, no one says you can't, honestly.
Yes.
I 100%.
Kelly says, Granny D, he said, wow, I guess you were right, Mom. They look really cool. I'm glad we look cool. I like to think that I'm cool.
Like, that is the genuine nicest comment of the day. You look cool. You know what? Thank you so much.
Exactly. And let's see, this one, and I'm going to show it because I'm not sure how to not show that, but
Sure.
Oh, now I can't read it. So let's see. So you can come up close. Oh, no, can't read that. So I'm going to have to unshow it and read it. I wish there wasn't discrimination about hair color styles in the workplace. It shouldn't matter what someone's hair looks like as long as it's clean and put up and pulled back when working with food. And I completely agree. I got really lucky with my last job, my last full-time job. They didn't care. So I did have bright pink hair at least once. But they tried to be, you know, they were like, we don't care if you have tattoos. Because at that time I had gotten my arm piece here that was lower than, because I mean, I would love to at some point have something on my hands, but it was just like, once you get the hand tattoo, it's like you are just owning it of like, I don't care, you know.
Right.
And I was always concerned because there is still that, you know, a lot of people who don't feel like it's professional. You know, so I stuck with this one ends right about here. So if I wear a cardigan, even if it's a little short, it does cover that piece. And it's so funny because in the interview for that job, the first part of the interview, I had my cardigan down. And then when I was asked back to the second one, I went ahead and rolled my sleeves up a little because I'm like, I have to at least let you guys know that this is the deal. It's here.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that is so crazy to me too, because it's like, I also have tattoos and I love them. And I think like, you know, beautiful pieces of art, but it is so crazy to me that people can be like, we don't like that. We don't think that's professional. And you're like, really? Because this was like an artist. This took a lot of time. Like if anything, this is like super professional. It's just like walking framed art. Like, how is that not? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, and it took me, I wanted tattoos for years, and it wasn't until 2015 that I got my first tattoo. And then I was one of those people who just got hooked because within the next 3 years, it went from one very small one on my wrist, which is this one here, which is really small.
Nice.
And then I took the plunge and got my first big piece, which was on the outer arm here.
Nice.
And these, from what I've heard, it's the easiest place to get a large tattoo. So if you're starting out with your very first large tattoo, it's the least painful spot if you get it on the outer upper arm.
Totally fair.
And then after that, I was just hooked because I was like, okay, just need to just keep adding them. And COVID is the only reason. I have a long list of ones that I'd like, but I have not felt comfortable being in a tattoo studio for that long, right up next to someone, you know, so that has put that off a little bit, but hopefully soon. That's the goal.
I know. I guess. Long list. And I'm just like, oh, this is literally a nightmare. Just terrible. But that is super funny though, that you're like, oh, this is the easiest part, because no one told me anything about like easy, kind of painful. Like, no, I went in there and I was like, I want a tattoo on my spine. And they're like, cool. Like no one told me anything. They were like,
oh, honey,
well, you what you want. Here you go. And I was like, you know, this is a little painful. And they're like, is it? Because it's like the most painful one. I'm like, why did you not tell me that? And they're like, you got another 2.5 hours. You're doing good. You want some water? And I'm like, I guess here I am.
Yeah, that's tough. Let's see. Someone said, Kelly says, my neck was my least painful tattoo. That's surprising. That's very, very surprising.
I guess I've never heard either way. People are just like, they really want it. So they're like, well, we're going to do it no matter if it is or isn't. But yeah, I would think that would be a little painful.
I would think so. But. And then the lopsided crafter says, LOL, my outer upper arm was the most painful for me. So that's surprising. But I mean, everybody's body's different. I think like with nerves and things, it can make a difference because, you know, I have heard that some people say certain things are not that painful. I think for me, the most painful was under my arm. So I've got sunflowers that run up close to my armpit, and that was probably the most painful, but I don't have anything on my back or on like my calves. I've heard that the calves can actually be surprisingly painful because of the nerves. So I don't know. We'll see. One of these days I can let you guys know.
Just like write out a whole like body graph, like kind of painful, extremely painful, like do red zones on things.
And I think they have those. I think they have those out there. Like if you Google like painful places to get tattoos, they usually tell you, because it's like knees and elbows and creases, you know, and things like that can be painful. But like I said, I think it's different for everybody. Let's see. Rainy Days says that my least painful was my shoulder piece. I fell asleep. I was so relaxed. Dang, that would be nice. And someone else says any place on a bone is painful, which I would think the same thing. So if you're like on your, you know, if you actually get on like the arm bone and that kind of stuff.
Top of my foot, that was rough. The lady was even like, hunker down, girl.
Yoga breathing. Breathing.
Yes.
Deanna says I have 40 tattoos. My most painful were under my arm and fingers. Calves are. Linda says calves are bad. The outside of my calf never hurt. But I guess calves, like the actual calf, is bad. And then behind the ear was my least painful. This is Caitlin. They told me it wouldn't hurt, and I didn't believe them. They stuffed cotton in my ear for the noise, and it went fast. Okay. Nice. And Bella, I fell asleep during my chest piece. Good Lord, honey. I can't even imagine.
Nice. High pain tolerance then. Love it.
Yes. I wish I did. That's the thing. I wish I had a high pain tolerance, because I wish I could fall asleep getting tattooed. That'd be great. But I end up like getting super sweaty. Like my body gets that immune response, you know, where it's like fight or flight, and you're sitting here. You should be running.
Something's happening. We're not enjoying this. Are you having a good time? Something's wrong.
Terry says, I've been lurking and listening. Have to say how much I love both of you. Kayla, I love everything about your looks. Evelyn, I fell in love with you through one of the Yarn Hookers Live, and I'm hooked. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, so I would love to read everybody's comments, but I do have to get back to some of our questions before we run out of time. So I did want to ask you, Kayla, what would be your advice from what you've learned so far, just going full-time, going through this process, what you've experienced, advice for people who are thinking about that? Like in the future, I want to do this full-time. What are some of your maybe key things that you've learned and that you would tell them?
Yes. Well, one of the main thing that I would say, especially like this is specifically, I guess, if you're wanting to go into YouTube, start your own channel, start your business, and like that is where you want to reside. One of the main things that was a huge time waster for me was looking up how other people like succeeded on YouTube, or the whole like how to get your 100 subscribers in like this amount of time, or like how to get more viewers, like things like that, things that are very like you feel like you need to watch because you're like, well, they have, 2.2 million. Obviously they're doing something right. Like I should be watching this. Or like how to accurately use Premiere Pro, how to use, stuff like that. It seems all very, very important. But it's such a huge like fluff and like time waster. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you feel like you need to like watch one to be like, I'm on like the right path, like maybe, sure. But for me, that has been like a huge time waster. And honestly, it kind of derails you too, because you start to like pick all these things up and you're like, these 5 different people are all doing 5 different things. So I feel like I should do everything across the board, because I feel like all 5 of them are doing everything across the board. So it's really, really easy to get distracted. And so I guess that would be my main thing, is be like, no, like decide the direction that you want to go, and then just like own it and accept that of being like, there are so many directions that you can take this, and like all of them can be very, very successful. But just getting started and like, and I know everybody hates that of like, just get started, just do it, like upload your first video, sell your first pattern, like everybody hates that, but it really is. It is. You don't know what you're doing wrong until you do it. And you don't know what's going to be like right until you do it. Prime example, I did a yarn review a while back, like when I first started, and I was like, this is dumb. No one's going to watch this. Like, it's my opinion. What does anyone care about my opinion? But it turned out it was like super helpful to like
Yeah.
a lot of people because they were like, oh, I didn't know the yarn did that. Like there were specific things about it. So it's like you never know until you try it. So that is like one of my main things. And like especially when I got started, it was such like everyone was telling me so many different directions that I should go that I didn't do any of them. And so like at the beginning, I just felt super overwhelmed and super like, I'm not doing anything. I'm also now behind and this is supposed to be my full-time job. And I feel overwhelmed. Like this is just ridiculous. And so a lot of times when I'm like setting up my week or whatever, which I guess that is second thing, set out your week. Like pick a day to set out your week, because if you don't know what direction you're going for the week, you're going to try to do a million things in one day and you're not going to get any of them done. Like that is just kind of how it goes. Like human brains like to be like A, B, C, D. What are we doing for the day? Most people think they want structure, but like, or don't want structure, but when you have it, it's so much nicer and you're so much more productive. But anyways, so when I set it all out, I was like, these are the things that I'm doing for this day, for this hour, for, you know, these 2 weeks, and I'm just not going to stray from it. And it really has helped like eliminate my like FOMO of being like, so I missed that day. There was this random thing going on, or like it was National Crochet Day and I didn't even know about it. Like, you know, it's so you feel like you need to do everything, but I was like, it's not on my planner, so we're not doing it. Okay, moving on with life. We'll put it there for next year. You know, it's like, it's okay to like go just the direction that you have. So yes, planners, if you think you're not a planner person, they're so nice. Like they're so nice.
And you said you block schedule, right? Like you do like hour by hour.
So I actually just have the free one on my Gmail. And so every Sunday I get up and I have my coffee and then I spread everything out and I'm like, what are we doing for the week? What are we doing video wise? What are we, are we going to buy some yarn? I hope we're buying yarn. I set it all out and then I set it so that it's reminders. So it goes on my phone as well. So like if I am sitting down and it's like, okay, you have 2 hours to edit this pattern. After 2 hours come up, I get a little ding on my phone and it's like, hey, you now need to be doing this. It's just, you know, because like it keeps you in like the zone. You're able to like focus more on just that one thing too, because you know it's not like, you know, it's me controlling my time, but it's something else that's tangibly telling me like, hey, you need to switch now, time to switch. That has been a total lifesaver, because I would get in a rut of where I'm like, well, I'm working on this, so I need to finish it. And so there'd be some days where it would just like, I felt like I did a lot, but I really only did like one thing, you know? So just like a lot of wasted time. So yes, block scheduling is totally, like for me, it works really, really well.
And I feel like if you allow yourself, so you just use Google Calendar? Is that what you mean by the free version?
Yeah, just Google Calendar. That's it.
And I had found Google Tasks was helpful for me too. And I think that's like a, you know, it's connected or whatever.
It is,
But I have found that if you don't give yourself that like time where you say, I need to get this done in this amount of time, for me, it can turn into my perfectionist comes out and I'm like, this needs to look different, or this needs, and then all of a sudden you realize you've spent 8 hours working on one thing and it's not finished.
Yes, 100%. For me, it was thumbnails. I was like, so many people kept telling me, they're like, if you have a trash garbage thumbnail, no one's going to click on it. So you need to spend this many hours on it. And I'm like, okay, just like, why do I have no idea. And yeah, it was ridiculous. I would spend hours or like days even like coming back to it. And meanwhile, I have 7 videos that are just sitting in a draft. Thumbnails. Yeah, and they need thumbnails. They're all done. Everything is done. They could be out in the world helping people out. But no, I'm like, I don't know. And I retake pictures. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Today I feel bloated. Tomorrow I'm going to feel terrible. Like it was just a nightmare. And now I'm like, I don't know. Here's some yarn. Cheers, cheers. And we're done, you know, and just go with it. Because it is what it is at the end of the day. But yes, that was definitely a learning experience for me.
And Kelly asks, how much time it takes to keep a successful YouTube channel running? And I know you probably don't have a specific answer for this, but I think we can both weigh in on this.
Yes. So for me, honestly, I found that as soon as I went full time, things were a lot easier. And I am still to the point where I'm not doing like an 8-hour day. It's more like 12 or 14. But I love it. So it doesn't feel like that. But really every single day it's an every single day thing. Like I don't have like days off anymore. Even I might not be on YouTube doing live, doing, you know, a tutorial, but I'm working on it. So at this stage right now, it's a 24-hour thing. But like I said, it makes a huge difference when you're enjoying everything that you're doing. It doesn't feel like you're overworked and overwhelmed. You're just like, oh, I need to work on this. I need to do that. So yeah, I'm not sure about like how you feel about that, but that's for me anyways, it's still like a every single day type of thing.
How many days do you spend recording? I guess that would be a big question, because I know the other days are probably filled with editing and making thumbnails and writing descriptions and things like that. But when it comes to actually recording your videos.
So I only do recording like about 2 days out, which is like really short. And I know a lot of people are like, no, you should like batch it like a week, a month in advance. That would be really nice. But like with the things that I'm doing, it's so like the here and now, like especially right now, a lot of it I'm like going out to Joann's to like look for some Halloween decor. I can't pre-record that, you know what I mean? I can't do it a week later. It's already old news, it's already done. So it pretty much I'm recording every single day right now. And then it's going to get even worse in October because I'm going to do Vlogoween, which is like vlogging every single day. So like honestly for me, it's intense. But honestly for me, it's every day, but I have that like blocked off that it's every day. When it comes to editing, it's like every other, because I found that if I edit every day, I just get burned out. I'm not super good with like the computer stuff yet. So I need to like batch it. So every 2 days I'm editing, I can record every single day. Like I love chit chatting. I love going to Joann's. I love going to Michael's. Like that is totally fine. It doesn't drain me. So yeah, that I'm doing. But when it comes to editing too, I do have to be like, okay, you get 4 hours today. Whatever you get done, and then you need to like find a new project to accomplish, because I was just like, it got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to do this because it's so draining and you're staring at a screen, you know what I mean? So it's like, I found what worked for me, and like, that's kind of how you have to go about it. And it seems to work so far every other day.
Yeah.
So,
And do you use Premiere Pro? I thought you mentioned Premiere Pro for your editing. Is that what you use?
I went through like a lot. And then I just found that one worked the easiest for me, and I can get like the whole creative package from it too. So it's like, I have that, I have the Premiere Rush. So it's on my phone. So like when I do vlog, I can just edit it on my phone. So I can like, be out and about. Yeah, it's so nice. But then that way you only pay like one price across the board. You don't have to pay like 10 different platforms and like remember everything. So like when it comes to like actually budgeting for your business, it's like bundled a lot easier. Because all that stuff totally builds up of, you know, canvas. You need all that stuff and you need to combine it together. And yes, it becomes very like, where is all of this going? Like you sit down and you're like, what? And you're like, okay, yeah, it does. Epidemic music. That's what I use for my YouTube music. And it's one of the more expensive ones. But for me, it's just like, I don't want to think about it. Like I know what I like and it's right there and there we are. So it's worth it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm still a YouTube newbie, you know, I'm continuing to grow my channel. It was one of those things where I had to just like make myself do it, because it's like, I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but I had kind of gotten to a point where I knew what my look was going to be. I knew my colors, you know, so it was easier to make thumbnails, even if they weren't absolutely perfect. I found my fonts, you know, and I do batch video right now because I don't have a really great space to video. I'm doing it outside. So like I get the airplanes flying over and I get the dogs barking and I have to pause it and like wait for the neighbors to stop singing karaoke on their back porch, you know?
I know you're having a great time, but stop.
Yes. And so I try to batch edit, because if it's a quiet day, if it's a nice day, then I can like get through the videos, because right now they're mostly tutorials. So I was working on my Learn to Crochet stuff and I'm working on new tutorials, and so I will try to batch them. And then I'm similar to you when it comes to the editing. So I don't edit every day. Usually it's maybe like 2 to 3 days out of the week, I'll spend some time editing videos.
Sure.
I use iMovie since it's just on the Mac. And that has worked really well for me because I don't need to do anything except like speed sections up, you know, where I'm like, okay, we're going to single crochet all the way around and that's all you're going to do. And you don't need to watch me do this in real time.
Right. Exactly.
And so I'll speed up sections and then, but it's just like you said, it's once you make that decision that that's what you want to do, it is kind of an everyday thing because if you're not videoing, you're editing. If you're not editing, you're making thumbnails. If you're not making thumbnails, you're uploading. If you're not uploading, you're making descriptions, you know, and making sure that everything looks good. So I do think that YouTube is very time consuming, but I do think that you, once you decide what you want to do with it, then you can give yourself these larger goals of like, well, if I'm working a full-time job and I'm trying to do this, then if I get one video out a month, great, because you can always grow later. You know, I have videos when I uploaded my very first tutorial, which is an awful tutorial, and I've had to redo it because I'm like, now you can actually see what I'm doing. Nice. But it has a couple thousand views because it's been up for so long that, you know, once you put it out there, it's like Pinterest. If you put it out there, it's out there forever and people continue to find it and continue to get it. So, you know, it's okay if you can only get one video uploaded a month just to start like growing your channel and figuring out what you want to do with it. But it's like Kayla said, you just have to do it, you know, and people get tired of hearing it, but it's so true.
They do. Yeah. They're like, that's not helpful in any way, shape, or form. And you're like, but it really is. Like, yeah, it really, really is. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. There definitely are some of like my very first one. Like I had to like physically be like, just leave it, Kayla. Just leave it up there. It's garbage. I know it is, but just like leave it. Cause it is, you grow from it. And if you take down every one that you're like, oh, this is slightly wrong. Or like, I don't really like this outfit that I was wearing. It's just like, you're never going to like go and build and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Exactly.
That is
well, sure. I didn't get to cover everything, obviously, because I feel like we chat a lot, but I feel like, according to Kelly, this has been very helpful. And I hope everyone else has been enjoying this too. And I would love, if you're interested, we can totally do a few more of these together if you have time. Like I know October is going to be crazy for you, and maybe after the Halloween season. But I feel like we could cover a lot of cool stuff with people if they wanted to, you know, hear us do this again. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying this and if you think we should have another chitty chat between the two of us. But I did want to let everyone know, I have not announced this publicly. If you are on my newsletter list, you did find out about this last night because I did send out a letter to all of my newsletter peeps, and they got kind of this first glimpse of it. But for the first time ever, I am doing oh, let me get it because I found my empty one. But we are doing Halloween mystery boxes.
Oh my gosh, those are so freaking cool. I immediately want.
So I figured this was like the best, you know, chit chat to announce this on, since this is totally Kayla's vibe. And the boxes will not all look like this because, you guys, this took me longer than I'm willing to even admit that it took me to put question marks all over this box.
What did you do with it? Did you print it or like physically?
Oh, Sharpies. These are Sharpies.
Oh no!
But the things we do for marketing, I had to market it. You know, we had to have marketing. And so I also made myself this super sweet little crochet cat ear hat. And I
love that so much.
I think I need to do the pattern because it's literally just half double crochet. But I feel like it looks cool. And look, if you reverse it, the pattern actually kind of reminds me of like jack-o'-lantern teeth.
It flips around. Oh, that is so cool. What yarn did you use for that?
It's Hometown USA. So really? Lion brand. Yeah, it's just acrylic, 100% acrylic. Hometown USA. It's like their safety orange kind of color, and then their regular black. I can usually find it at like Walmart. So I usually tell people to, you know, if they need to start out and they need something chunky, this is the size 6. I used a 12 millimeter hook. It might have been either a 10, 11 or a 12. One of those.
Pick and choose. Choose your adventure crochet hat. I love it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get this up on my blog, because then I'll do a gauge swatch and that'll tell me what hook I used. And I'll do that. But it's so simple to make this. Most of my patterns are just like one stitch, and I love half double crochet. But yeah, I made
It's
that so that
amazing.
I could take pictures with my mystery box. This is an empty one, but
Oh no.
there's two sizes. So this is actually going to be the size of the $100 box. The $100 box will come with a mystery hook. And we had an epiphany last night that we are doing something really special with these mystery hooks. Not only are they an exclusive design, but there's going to be something like super crazy about them that you guys will find out if you want a mystery hook from us. But then we will also have a $50 box that's a little bit smaller. It won't have a hook in it, but it's just going to have like Halloween goodies. And it's not going to have yarn. I feel like there's tons of mystery boxes out there that have yarn and are, available. And I don't feel like that's my thing. I wanted this to have, it'll have some of our crochet tools in there. And then it'll just have like some crochet and then just some regular Halloween swag. And it will all be exclusive to the box. So if you get like, I'm looking at things like mugs or bags or like things like that I can order in bulk, that'll have like exclusive designs. But yeah, so they should be really fun. I'm really excited. I did put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. And we are having to limit them. We are going to do a lot of them, but we do have to limit them just so that we don't overwhelm ourselves with these boxes. But yeah, we're super excited, and I thought that would be fun to announce it now. I'll be posting about it on Instagram at some point later, but they should be fun. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did have a couple of questions. Let's see.
For sure.
Interesting how long YouTube takes you ladies. Can't wait for your Halloween box. Oh, thanks, Linda. That was Linda. Let's see. Okay. A lot of people did say, yes, I have definitely enjoyed this. Please. This was so fun. Let's please do it again.
I won't drop my phone the next time.
Let's see. Make sure I get all of these. Yes, more lives together. And then that sounds so fun. Now try to coerce the hubby into buying me one.
Oh my gosh. I immediately was like, this is why I have a Halloween budget. My partner is like, oh, we're coming up to October. Here you go. Dip into your funds. Right? And I'm like, yes. Because immediately I was like, I love that box. I don't care what's in it. Yeah. I love the box. I need it. I am like the best Halloween market person though. If you put a skull on it or pumpkin color stuff, I'm like, I need it. Get into my life.
Well, and the good thing is because you do have the spooky vibes all season. So it's not like you only have it out during Halloween, so it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
All year long. Yes.
And then Naughty said, oh, how much would shipping be for Canada? Okay, so Canada is really expensive.
It is
I think the majority of my Canadian shipments have been anywhere from $16 to $20. That's just kind of a flat rate because they are boxes.
Not too bad.
No, but that's usually what you can expect. And Etsy will give you an estimate. So if you go on there, put it in your cart, you can look at the shipping without having to buy it first and see if that's something that you can do. But I hate that. Right. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I wish I could ship things cheaper. Maybe one of these days Etsy will figure it out.
I'm just such like an Etsy fiend that I'm like, oh, $20 for shipping? It's all good. It's a box. My patches are like $10 shipping.
Well, and it's like, I feel like I tell people, if you're gonna, then like wait until you can order a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Because if it's international, it's always going to be that pricey. It's not like 3 ounces versus 7 ounces makes a difference. So I'm like, buy more stuff if you can. Like wait until if you have a lot of things you want to get, wait and put it off and then like bundle it all together so that, you feel like you're getting your money's worth when you, have to buy all that stuff. So Kayla, I wanted to give you a chance before we go to let everyone know if you have anything coming up. And let them know where they can find you. What are your regular live schedules, and what are some cool things you have happening?
Yes. So I mean, as soon as we get into October, I'm going to have something going on every single day. So if you're into Halloween and crochet, every single day in October, something is happening on my channel. So that's the main thing coming up. But nearer future, every Friday and Saturday, I do lives. So if you have, honestly, it started off as a specific day for a specific thing, but now it's just like, hey, come have some coffee with me. Let's chit chat. If you have questions, that's probably like the best time to hang out because it's like in real life. We can hang out and do that. And cardigans in my near future. So also if you love crochet cardigans, that is what's coming up, and Halloween based cardigans. So yeah, I would love it if you want to come to lives and stuff. Absolutely. I'd love it.
Awesome. And what time are your lives?
So 7 p.m. on Friday Central and 8 a.m. Central on Saturday. So that way the time zones, you can just pick which one works best for you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we are going to keep in touch because it sounds like we have, I mean, I literally got through, I think 3 of my like 20 questions. So we have plenty of stuff we can chat about. Yes. But I feel like it was easy. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. So we'll keep in touch and we'll see if we can do another one, because I did really want to talk about like community and stuff like that.
For sure.
And all of that fun stuff. So, but thanks to everybody who's joining in. Please be sure to hit the like button on this video, whether you're watching live or later. Yes, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Kayla's channel so you don't miss any good stuff. And thanks for joining in, everybody. I truly appreciate it. This was my biggest audience, so all thanks to Kayla. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad everybody came and hung out.
Yes. We appreciate you all so much. We couldn't do it without you. And yeah, stay tuned because we'll have to do this again.
Actually answer questions. Yes,
exactly. We'll have to have just like an open Q&A. We'll just chat and have people ask their questions.
There you go. I like it. Yes.
I think that'll work really well. So cool. Well, thanks again to everyone joining in, watching the replay. We appreciate you very much. And we'll see you all very soon. So have a great day, guys. Bye.